Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a 2,300-year-old philosophy that, incredibly enough, aligns perfectly with modern neuroscience and behavioral psychology. We're going to see how it can help us build way better habits and fundamentally upgrade our lives. We are talking about the ancient Chinese philosopher Xunzi.
Human nature naturally leads towards selfishness. Now, if someone today tells you that humans are selfish by nature, they usually just get brushed off as pessimistic, right? I mean, we naturally prefer to believe that everyone is born kind, pure, and totally innocent. But over 2 millennia ago, Xunzi made this incredibly bold claim. And I want to be clear right off the bat here. This isn't pessimism. It's actually a profound, highly accurate observation about human instinct.
Sounds shocking, doesn't it? Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that accepting this uncomfortable truth is actually the very first step toward empowering ourselves. See, Xunzi wasn't saying people are monsters or that humanity is just inherently evil. No, he was pointing out that our raw, default instincts simply don't automatically create civilization or personal success. And realizing that, well, that's exactly what gives us the power to change. Section 1. The misunderstood truth and why our instincts fail us.
Okay, let's dive into this. Think about giving a 5-year-old unlimited candy. No bedtime, no rules, no homework. What happens? I mean, most kids don't spontaneously become enlightened little Buddhas, right? They become tiny dictators. And it's not because they're evil, but simply because they haven't learned self-control yet. We are all born with powerful instincts that naturally seek comfort, avoid pain, and crave immediate pleasure. Now, those instincts definitely helped our ancient ancestors survive, but in modern society, they constantly misfire. Nobody sits us down in a classroom and teaches us to constantly compare our messy, behind-the-scenes lives with a stranger's polished highlight reel on social media. The brain simply does it automatically. It's really fascinating how Xunzi's ancient idea of flawed human nature maps flawlessly to this modern psychological definition of social comparison bias. We're just wired to want more.
I kind of like to think of it this way. Imagine if your impulsive brain was your lazy college roommate. You know, the one constantly whispering in your ear, hey, let's just order pizza instead of cooking. Or, we'll definitely exercise tomorrow. Or, just buy it. You deserve it. But then, when your life actually starts falling apart because of those choices, your brain quietly disappears into the background, like that friend who just shrugs and goes, bro, it seemed like a good idea at the time. Our natural instincts just aren't designed for modern wisdom.
Section 2. Civilization is artificial, and order is never automatic.
You see, nothing valuable happens naturally. If you leave a garden completely alone, it naturally becomes overrun with weeds. A body naturally gets weaker without active exercise. A society naturally becomes chaotic without rules. Every single good thing in human life, our roads, schools, laws, even basic etiquette, these are not accidents. They're tools we actively created to improve behavior. Think of society or even your own personal life like a river. Without boundaries, those powerful human desires act like an uncontrolled flood, just destroying everything in their path. But on the flip side, we have riverbanks. These are our rituals, our laws, our personal habits. Notice that the riverbanks don't try to eliminate the powerful water. They safely guide it. You don't have to eliminate your desires. You just have to build the banks to direct them.
Section 3. The battle in your brain. Why discipline feels so incredibly painful.
Have you ever wondered why doing the wrong thing feels entirely effortless, while doing the right thing is just this immense, exhausting struggle? Well, it's because your brain literally runs on 2 different operating systems. What Xunzi called desire is exactly what modern neuroscientists call our emotional reward systems. That's the part constantly seeking immediate gratification. And what Xunzi called cultivated reason, that perfectly aligns with our brain's executive control networks, the part that actually plans for the long term. And this brilliantly illustrates how ancient wisdom and modern science are describing the exact same battle, just 2,300 years apart.
Imagine you're driving a high-performance sports car. Your emotions are the engine, right? They provide this incredible, raw power. But your cultivated reason is the steering wheel. It provides direction and control. The huge problem is that most people spend their entire lives constantly trying to upgrade their emotional engine, chasing more passion and more drive. But without taking the time to build a strong steering wheel of cultivated reason, adding more power just guarantees you're going to crash a whole lot faster. Drive without discipline is literally dangerous.
Section 4. The hidden power of ritual. Transforming effort into identity.
So when we hear the word ritual, we usually picture, some ancient ceremony with incense and robes. But Xunzi's concept of ritual is actually what modern neuroscience calls neuroplasticity. It's just habit building. It's a repeated action that physically shapes your character over time. Morning meditation, daily exercise, family dinners, even just greeting people politely or turning your phone off before bed. When you do these things for the first time, they take massive effort. But as you repeat them, they become completely automatic. It's exactly like brushing your teeth. You don't debate it, you just do it. These small, repeated rituals eventually upgrade your identity, and an identity built on positive action is just vastly stronger than relying on some fleeting motivation.
Now, Xunzi had another totally revolutionary idea to help us take responsibility. He argued that heaven, or the universe, or nature is not rewarding or punishing anyone. Gravity behaves exactly the same whether you're a deeply kind person or a cruel one. Reality operates strictly on cause and effect. So if you neglect your health or completely ignore your finances, the universe isn't striking you down as a punishment. Your body and your bank account are simply responding naturally to your actions. Nature absolutely does not care about our excuses.
Section 5. Words shape reality. Honesty creates freedom.
Because nature doesn't care about our excuses. We have to be brutally honest with ourselves. And this ancient concept perfectly mirrors what we see in modern cognitive behavioral therapy. Xunzi called this the rectification of names. Basically, it's the practice of calling things what they truly are to prevent dishonest thinking. I know the truth is often super uncomfortable, but correctly naming our problems is literally the only way to achieve the clarity we need to find true freedom.
So the crucial point is recognizing the lies we constantly tell ourselves. Don't call on addiction just stress relief. Don't call laziness waiting for the right moment. Don't call arrogance confidence. And please, for sure, don't call fear being realistic. When our language becomes dishonest, our thinking becomes entirely distorted. And when our thinking is distorted, eventually our entire life becomes a lie. We have to name our reality accurately.
Section 6. The Transformation Framework. 5 steps to build an extraordinary life. Let's get into the practical payoff here. Let's move to our framework and see how this builds into something you can use today. If Xunzi were alive right now, looking at everything we know about human nature, this is the framework he'd give us. Step 1. Distrust your first impulse. Your raw instinct isn't always your best decision, so pause and choose deliberately. Step 2. Build rituals instead of relying on motivation. Your future depends on daily systems. Step 3. Learn continuously to upgrade your character and not just your bank account. Step 4. Surround yourself with disciplined people because bad habits are highly contagious. And finally, Step 5. Practice before perfection. Virtue isn't something you just discover, it's rehearsed until it becomes entirely natural to you.
Greatness is built, not born. Xunzi saw every single person not as a finished, flawed product, but as a raw block of marble just waiting to be shaped by disciplined choices. You are not doomed by your initial instincts, you're just unfinished. So here's my challenge for you. I want you to leave a comment below telling us which of your choices today is going to make you better than you were yesterday. Which chisel stroke are you making on your character today? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. And remember, you have the power to actively build your greatness. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.